All right.
Who thinks they can get us through that door the fastest and the quietest?
I mean, I could give it a shot.
I just want to. I'm just gonna point out as you guys. Oh no! In fact, please continue. Don't worry. Continue.
I mean, Vek's got 2 brains, and she has extolled the virtues of having 2 brains to me at length. So if she wants to try it out, maybe she can. But I could probably give it a whack too.
All right, well, you two could help each other out. I'll stand here in front of you.
And we certainly could. With that whole like assistant thing, I can. Well, I mean, like you also have 2 skill points as well, and so do I. Shit.
All right, I got to point out at this point, as you guys are contemplating how to get in, the doors just open and somebody steps out because that's like the ground floor of the apartment building.
Okay.
We go in.
Is it like someone steps out of like the door that we are looking at, thinking
like
about like how we're gonna get into?
Yeah, like this is just the main entrance to the building.
Okay.
It's not his apartment.
I put my boot into the door before it can close, and we go in.
Okay.
All right, so you guys step inside what is essentially the ground floor, the lobby, if you will, of the apartment complex. It does have a very medical feel to it overall because it was a repurposed building. There is a guy over there playing a flute. He's one of those... I always forget the name of those aliens.
He's a Biff.
Biff?
God, you're nerds.
A Biff, for those of you who don't know, is like an alien that has a butt for a head.
Yep, he totally has a butt and some big beady eyes.
And they put flutes in their sphincter mouths, and then they wail hot jizz all over the place.
Yep.
Wow. Yep, I didn't think that would make an appearance so early, but that's definitely what happens. So what's the number one hit of what's the number one hit of Nar Shaddaa that he's playing right now?
He is
Don't
playing...
Stop Believing, but it's in a minor key.
Yep, that's done.
That's the one.
And what's the band that plays that song in Star Wars?
Voyage. Great.
Beautiful. All right, done. So that's definitely just playing pretty well. In fact, he's got a hat out in front of him, clearly expecting credit chips to just be raining down anytime now. There's a couple of other people in the lobby. There's a mailbox over where the rather cybernetic-looking Twillick is standing, and she appears to be kind of counting, or rather going through her mail, deciding what needs to go into the trash can that's next to it. And there's one of those devil guys, because I refuse to call them by their real name, standing by an elevator.
Okay.
I suppose, incidental question, do we actually know what the first mate's mailbox is here?
Yes, he had his address, for whatever reason, completely on there, and the mailbox numbers are just the apartment numbers.
Okay.
Tem flips a 5 credit chip into the Jizz Whaler's hat.
Oh, why thank you. This jizz is for you.
Thanks. I always appreciate a good jizz.
Star Wars, why? Why?
What was he thinking? I feel like it's probably the first thing that Disney have gotten rid of.
It actually wasn't officially named in the films. It was named in an expanded universe novel.
Disney's just had a big board meeting like, guys, we gotta get rid of all the jizz. There's just too much jizz in Star Wars right now, and we need to stop it.
Oh, wait, sorry, it was in the novelization of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, shit. It was Luke's jizz.
Yeah, the term Jizz Whaler first appeared there to describe a musician.
What were they thinking? Like, George Lucas had to have signed off on that.
He probably did while giggling.
Oh, yeah, good point.
To be fair, George Lucas officially originally signed off on the holiday special, and it was like, oh, wait, no.
I've never sat through that.
Don't.
Don't. Yeah, don't.
I don't know. I mean, my knowledge of Star Wars is not where it should be. Maybe that's a good starting point for me.
No.
Nope. No, it's not necessary.
Doesn't it have like Chewbacca's wife in it?
Yes.
It's got a whole bunch of horrifying Wookiees in it. But we're here to look at a mailbox. Let's go look at that mailbox.
Well, I suppose we should just proceed to like his actual room first, and then maybe look at his mailbox later, or are we here just for his mailbox?
I want to glance at his mailbox and see if it's full of unopened junk mail, if it looks like no one's been there for a while.
We have to probably pick it open, or whatever.
Does it look super full?
So you guys get over. Well, who's headed over there?
Tim's interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a peek.
All right. So from what you can tell, there's it's kind of full. It looks like it's been a while since he's been back. But with the amount of spam mail that people get these days, it's probably about a week or two.
Looks like I may not be home, which could work in our favor for now.
I mean, you'd hope he's not home because he is dead.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, Dr. Vek looking at Tim duh?
Tim's still thinking about Slick. Well, let's go up there.
Sure thing, boss.
Is this the turbo lift up here?
That is indeed the turbo lift. So that guy's standing there waiting for it right now.
Tim will just look over to him and I know people tell you it doesn't come any faster if you keep pressing the button, but I just can't help myself sometimes. You know how it is, right?
I do know how it is.
Ted reaches over and pushes the button again. He's like, "See, I can't help it.
You showed that button who's boss. You're new here, yeah?
Yeah, we're visiting a friend.
Who you here to see?
Oh, shit, what's his name?
Who are you here to see?
I live here.
Of course.
My name's Gamora.
Gamora.
I know, I gave you my name so easily.
Do you always make it your business to look into the business of others?
I try to. I am the super here.
Was it Kelyn who was the guy?
Yeah, Kelyn.
The name is Kelyn Millia. Kelyn Millia.
Yep, Kelyn Millia.
Yeah, so I'm visiting Kelyn Millia, old buddy of mine.
Oh, you're visiting Kel. Well, if you see him, you tell him he owes me 2 weeks of rent.
That sounds like Kel. I'll let him know.
I'm not laughing. If you see him, you tell him he owes me money.
Yeah. I just said I would.
You make it sound like he's not here then, or else you would have undoubtedly gotten your money from him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while, and his face hasn't popped up on the face recognition software.
Well, we'd be happy to let him know about the money he owes you and others. Could you let us in?
What, into his room?
Well, how else are you going to get your money back? I mean, it's your room, really.
I mean, it is, but he's only a couple weeks back. I'm not gonna go invade his room yet. I've got to go through the courts. I've got to get him evicted. At which point, I can ransack his apartment happily.
I'm sure he's home. It's just, we just need to get up there. Tim presses the turbo lift button again. It's a real slow turbo lift.
It really is. I mean, I've tried to have somebody come out and look at it, but you know how it is. It takes weeks to get somebody out here.
Yeah, Nar Shaddaa, right?
No, tell me about it. I mean, I live here.
I know it's got its charms, but I don't know if I can handle it.
To each their own, I suppose. And like clockwork, there's then a ding, and the doors slide open.
Excellent.
We all uncomfortably like bundle into the turbo.
Yep, he's
Tam
getting in there too.
takes up the entirety of the car just on his own.
Yep, your tokens are very large. I do have to point that out. All right, Vek's holding on to the outside.
You can make them smaller.
Good, but you don't have to do everything to scale.
No.
Use the
Here, I'll
theater of the
rotate myself.
mind.
There we go.
All right.
All right, so Vek is breakdancing on her cone head.
What floor are we going to?
All right, so the Gamora, as I apparently called him, I'm gonna get so sued. Just kind of steps in, holds the door open because he's a very nice devil man, and he just kind of punches the floor that he's going to, which is the 8th floor, and then he just punches the 14th because he knows exactly what floor Kelyn is on.
All right.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, so are any of you guys looking for an apartment?
No, I live on my ship.
Oh, shipborn, eh?
Yeah, that's me.
Jeez, yeah, I tried that for a couple years back, but it just wasn't for me, you know?
Well, like you were saying, not for everyone, right?
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. What about your friend here, old One Eye?
Well, basically, we're in the business of being ship-born people who, fly around and do a lot of stuff around the galaxy. So,
Oh, Smuggler's Moon, right?
Jacen winks his one remaining eye, so it just looks like he's blinking.
Yeah, when Gamora calls Jacen Old One Eye, Tem briefly, self-consciously reaches up to touch like this massive scar tissue around his left eye. Can't help it.
Well, fair enough. I guess you've all got lodging, so that's great. That's great. I got to get my occupancy up. Oh, cartel's gonna break my legs if I don't get up to 90% soon. He's just kind of mumbling to himself,
That's a real
staring
shame.
at the panels.
See,
Everyone probably starts looking up.
Dr.
Duck
Vek, with
break, man,
all
duck
of
break.
the cool practice of someone who's great at small talking, just like looks over and says, "How far are you below it?"
Oh, yeah, we're at about 65 right now. It's that's a lot of apartments.
How many?
It's about 72. I've got to fill 72 rooms in the next 3 months.
Oh. Again, like, Vek is so great at, like, this whole, like, social interaction thing, just completely, like, coats everything smoothly. Perhaps we could find you 72 occupants if suddenly the door for us was made clear, should our good friend who may owe individuals money not be home.
So Gamora kind of turns away from the panel of lights there, and someone's car is getting towed across the street.
Across the street from this
Gamora's
building?
like, no, that's my car.
sorry. Real life, not in game.
Oh, my immersion's ruined.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
He just shouts from the turbo lift as he watches it being pulled.
My car, no.
It's got one of those nice glass-sided turbo lifts in this crappy building. No, it's a decent building. It's a decent building.
No, there's actually no sides to it at all. You realize?
Just huddling in the middle, clinging to a pole.
Don't lean too far that way. You might tip us. All right, so he turns to regard Dr. Vek, and he looks like he's just not believing that for a moment. You're telling me you can make 72 people come out of nowhere and take lodging in this apartment if I open some doors?
How much does each lodging cost?
It's 1,500 credits a month.
1,500 times 72.
For 3 months, that's when my report goes in.
Could you perhaps have all of these 72 occupants scheduled to just have the 1 month during your review and then ever so casually no longer be occupying your building?
Oh, that's a tall ask. That management company that we're all a part of, I mean, that's a real tall ask for them to turn a blind eye to that.
I could trying to meddle with that might cause some issues with the Black Sun, right?
Well, it's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, our good friend here gets real excited over money and numbers, so yeah.
As like her cold, like logical stare just like withers down because, as it turns out, fucking Syrians are tall because of their fucking heads.
They are very tall. You got all that extra headroom.
Damn cone heads.
The average height for a Syrian is like 2 meters, and she's like just shy.
That is massive. And I'm sorry, every time I say coneheads, I can only think of D. Davis's run-in.
Conehead. You deal with it. You deal with the Coneheads official Twitter. I did not like the State Farm commercial at all.
Oh, fond memories.
Okay. Dr. Vek will fall silent, like stewing over how this foolish landlord will not see the logic of her ways.
I mean, Gamora seems like he'd be willing to float the idea, but for one, that's a lot of money, and he really thinks it would trip some kind of flag on the auditing system.
Right.
I mean,
he does seem like he would be
credits of profit that he'd have to spoof.
Yeah, like he does seem like he would need to have some convincing, and Dr. Vek doesn't like look like she cares enough to like do that.
Yes, only caring about the result.
She's a results-driven woman.
Tim's watching intently at the numbers very slowly tick upwards to 14.
Well, it's gonna stop at 8 first.
Oh, of course.
And Gamora reaches out and kind of hits 8 a couple of times. I need a faster turbo lift.
Yeah. Maybe you could get a used one or something.
I don't see how that would be any faster. Oh, I'm here.
Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, I mean, interesting idea there.
I could
soup
up this turbo lift for you. I can see the numerous inefficiencies in its design and manufacture. It would be small trouble for me to make it less weak.
Wow. So at that point, Gamora reaches in and hits the close button. Which doesn't really work because it tries to close, but he's in the way, and at which point he just kind of shakes his head. Tall lady, I don't know what you're on about, but I'm not gonna let you in. No, there's my cat. I'm not gonna let you in. All right, I'll feed you in a second.
Better feed that loft cat. It sounds like
I gotta feed my cat. I gotta feed my loft cat. Yeah. All right.
Until next time.
All right. I'm not letting you in. Don't break in.
I wouldn't dream of it. All right. Bye-bye. And Tim hits the close button, too.
And that's just a perfect interaction right there.
Dr. Vek says as the door's closing and it closes. Well, that wasn't actually a lie. I could make this faster.
It's not something we need to bother with.
Yeah, we should probably just go break in. I mean, we're going to break in, right?
We are going to enter as legally as possible, Tim says, winking.
Well, the hopes would be that we would not set off anything monitoring the locale by illicitly inserting ourselves into the premises. By doing so under the guise of having the landlord's personal passkey, we could obfuscate our true intentions.
That's true. I do think you're overestimating how much the law matters on this moon.
It seems
This guy's like a slum king, right?
I also misgauged how amenable the landlord would be to my overtures.
Is a good thought. It's a good thought, Doctor.
I mean, this guy's a slum king, right? He probably doesn't even have alarms.
Yeah, it seems like a slumlord. Oh boy, this turbo lift is really slow, though. I mean, we're just going up
Although
like 6 floors here.
I am perplexed. He said that the individual in query was only behind on rent for a short time, yet he has been working with that smuggler vessel for over a year, it seems.
Maybe he's just short on rent since he's dead.
Considering how many high-priority individuals owed him money, I also query why he's listed locale of residence would be here. Considering its condition, I had thought he would live in a more suitable locale.
I mean, this place isn't the worst.
Is
Probably
it not?
just use it.
Real bad turbo lift.
Probably just use it as a place to kick his feet up when he's not, smuggling stuff.
Is this number even going up?
I hope so.
All right, so the door's open, but on the wall across it says 13.
Come on.
It seems highly inefficient that there would only be one manner of lifting oneself up to a floor. Are there no other means of traversing between floors here?
Maybe there's some stairs. I don't know. Tem's looking out and trying to see a door number to see if this is actually the 13th floor or if they've just mislabeled it and it's actually 14.
It actually is the 13th floor, but 14 is still lit inside the lift.
I guess somebody pressed the button on this floor and then gave up waiting. I would too. I would always take the stairs if I lived in this dump.
Do these residences have windows? Because then, should we ever need to come to any of these locales again, the taxi could just deliver us to the window, right?
I guess they could. They might find that a little suspicious, but yeah, they could.
Is this not a smuggler's moon? I am sure there have been more suspicious things. Throw credits at them or whatever you do.
I mean, I'd like to. We don't have that many credits, but yeah, that's a good idea.
We could
Next
dispose of
time,
the taxi.
next
Driver
time,
out the taxi. She just starts mumbling again.
next time we got to break into a slum, a Nar Shaddaa, I think we can maybe consider that plan. Is the door
So at that
still
point, the
open?
doors. Yeah. Yeah, maybe there's a ghost or something, but eventually the door is closed and it takes you one more flight, and that's when it opens up on 14.
Okay.
All right, now I've got something prepared.
Okay.
Ooh.
Is it
Not
a sign?
sized very well, but if I'm just going to drag you guys down,
Oh.
pan down.
Oh, you mean on the map? I thought you were going to tell us something that would really make us
Okay,
feel
I've
bad.
panned down. Ooh, should I drag myself?
I'll just drag y'all.
Okay.
Damn it.
You could downsize us.
Yeah, no, yeah. There we go.
All right, the elevator.
That's right. All right, there's the elevator. You can just drop yourselves. Are you guys can't resize yourselves?
No, we don't
No.
have that power.
You
We
gotta
can only
do that.
rotate.
Oh, Jason's so tiny.
No, I am the supreme doctor.
Oh,
Forehead
it's so
just
small
keeps
now.
getting bigger.
The fun of playing with with tips.
Oh goodness!
God, it's like a Mon Calamari cruiser.
With this head ribbed solely for my power.
All right, so you guys are there, and yeah, I mean at this apparently at 14, it starts off just being one apartment per floor. So maybe he wasn't that poorly. What's the word I want?
Poor.
That poorly lodged,
Ah.
as you might have thought.
Now, is this big thing in front of us, is this just like a giant door, or what's...
Lobby for one bedroom?
Oh, it's a bit. It's like the hall itself.
Oh, this is
So
nice...
maybe at one point there were 2 apartments here,
Ah.
but one of them no longer has a door.
Oh, okay. I see. The door's over there. Okay. Tem initially goes right. He's like, Criff, of course. And then heads back the other way. It's the other way. It's the other way. Okay, it's over here. Are there security cameras?
Here, yes, there is a security camera sitting outside the door. Not even trying to be subtle about it.
Is there like a doorbell?
There is a doorbell. There's also like a panel there, probably for access or just to communicate with whoever may answer inside.
Okay.
I suppose this would be just a question that I guess I'm not entirely sure how my character would ascertain this in Star Wars. Would I be able to tell by the make and model of the camera whether it's able to capture audio or whether it's like a strictly video camera?
I'd say, yeah, you would be able to roll that if you want to roll a knowledge check.
All right. What knowledge would that most likely
That's a
fall
good
under?
question.
Wouldn't that be mechanics?
Yeah, I suppose it would be, although I was thinking, I mean, it's more like having to pull info. Yeah, I mean, I'd say mechanics or computers even.
All right. Both the same are me. What would I be looking at? Just solely gauging by like looking at like the make and model of this camera sitting here in this Slum King's land.
So you're just kind of staring at it and then being like, oh, that's the model. What can this one do? We'll make it just an average check, 2 difficulty.
That is 4 successes and 3 advantages, audio only.
Wow.
Those 2 brains.
Yeah. Hold a whole lot of information.
It also helps that I only rolled a threat on the 2 purple.
Yeah, that was lucky.
Yeah, with that many dice, it's pretty hard to not get at least 1 success as the outcome. So you're kind of looking at it, and I mean, obviously, you're a little further back as you see it, and your brains start ticking back through all that cataloged information you've got, and you know pretty quickly that it is a Taltronics V1832. It was looks to be about the model that was released 6 years ago, and it does video only, and there's no remote, like it can't, like there's no connection out to, you know, the info nets or anything for data to be stored. So if it is recording and the red light suggests that it is, it's going to be saved somewhere on premises.
Okay.
Just looking at the roll outcome. I don't know. I can't really think of any advantages to be used here. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Perhaps with that kind of advantage that I would know how to easily like deactivate the camera then by the model. Like, oh, it has like this fail-safe like remote switch or whatever, like a wire was very weak here located under this section, or it has a blind spot, you know, for whatever reason that has not quite been erased, or that you know, it has like this attachment port that turns out is an easy back door into the entire system. I don't know, something like that.
That's all very interesting.
That like, oh, say like, well, like this camera, as it turns out, is a weak point into the entire like security system, and like I could access a port through the camera and thus hack into like all of the cameras or something.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes, that would be too nice.
Hey, you asked for suggestions.
And you reach for the stars.
Well, is it like a bargaining or negotiating thing? Like I state things?
That's more just, you know, I'd say if you got a triumph, then we would definitely go that route. But given that it's the three advantages is not a small number anyway, so everything else you suggested is true. You know exactly how to turn it off without tripping anything. You know where the blind spot is, but at that point, you guys may have to reassess your approach.
Okay.
And you know exactly how to disable it.
All right. In that case, I think Dr. Vek would just water that down to as we're approaching and Tim and everyone sees the plainly spotted camera. Vek says, it's audio only and it is incapable of capturing our sound.
All right, you want to go ahead and turn that off?
Vek looks up at it and says, looks back at the door and says, I could do that, although she begins walking forward. It might behoove us to try and go into the security camera system later and erase all traces of us being here.
Yeah, of course.
And as she reaches up, standing underneath it, assuming that she can reach it. I don't know how tall the ceiling is.
Some aliens are freakishly tall, but Dr. Vek is probably close to being one of the tallest, so she can reach the camera pretty easily.
Okay. Then as she will follow Tim's suggestion, and as she's turning it off, say, yes, of course, the landlord will still know of our presence, but... And then she says, oh, and utters some sort of profanity. He does know of our presence.
Yeah, he does. But that's not something I'm too concerned about at the moment.
Very good.
All right, so you guys are otherwise faced with a door and a panel.
Okay, is it just a standard door panel?
It is pretty standard, yes.
I'd see if the door is open.
I want to have you roll agility for me. No, I'm just kidding. But it would be funny if you failed. The door is not open.
Okay. All right, obstacle 2. Jacen, Vek, you think you can jimmy this thing?
Yeah, we could probably definitely get in there and. What's it got? A computer open? What kind of locks on the jimmy? Eh?
Looks like standard. I don't know. Tim just kind of looks at it and he shrugs. It's not my area. That's why you two are here.
Okay.
Well, Watcher seems like he enjoys this field of action more anyway, although he is admittedly not here. Do you have the gear? Dr. Vek, looks over at Jacen. Because, you might be carrying, Watcher Slicer gear, and we might have brought that incidentally, but that's not something Vek would have, considered doing.
Jacen, Jason's a smart kid. He's got this under control. He certainly brought Watcher's Slicer kit.
All right, I'm gonna ask that you flip a light side point.
I figured that would be a destiny point incidental.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Because that's perfectly fine. That's a perfect use of it, just to introduce something.
There.
All right, so you definitely do have a Watcher's slicing kit.
Mm-hmm. And I will approach the door and I will attempt my best to open it through computer subterfuge.
I don't think that's an actual stat.
Oh, it is.
Computer subterfuge.
If Dr. Vek wants to whisper things in my ear, I believe that gives me, a boost die? Or
because it's a skilled assistant, you're allowed to use my, you can, pick whether you want to use, my Azure View pool or my skill pool. I have, 6 intelligence, so you can use that combined with your computer skill.
What? Wow. Really? Wow.
Page 33 details, skilled assistants. Because we both have this knowledge of computers and shit. We have the freedom to do that.
So I'd be able to use. Wait, does it just add? It adds to my computer skill your intelligence pool.
Basically, yeah. Like, you would be able to like use the dice pool from one character's characteristic, and then the dice pool from another character's skill rating. So you can use my characteristic with your skill rating.
Okay.
If it was unskilled assistance, then yeah, it would just be a boost die.
Okay.
But my character in this particular case is so good at like fucking like memorizing like algorithms and numbers and shit.
Okay. I think we have the same exact skill rating though. So
Yeah, we do have the same exact skill. So you can use like your skill rating and like my characteristic. Because I mean, you're the one who has slicer gear.
Yeah, so
that's true, but it would just okay.
Like mechanically, it would be superior for like you to just give me the boost die, but roleplay wise, you're the one that's slicer gear.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So I guess add 3 green, and the difficulty is what? What's the difficulty we're looking at?
All right, so on this door, or at least the panel for it, is going to be difficulty. It's going to be average, so 2 purple.
Okay.
All right, and Tem is while this is happening, he gets out his rifle.
Do I have to put a comma in between? No, I don't. Okay.
And he covers the door.
Click off. And whomp. Hey.
All right.
Jacen inserts the obvious ribbon cable into the door panel and starts twisting dials and has Vek whispering in his ear like, "No, that's not the right dial. Oh no, you're quite bad at this. I don't understand." See, if you had 2 brains, this wouldn't be a problem.
I love this. You fucking added derision and like subtle ribbing about cybernetics. I could build one for you.
It's but still,
And eventually
2 successes and 2 advantages. That's good stuff.
the door opens.
Yes, the door does open. You definitely hear it unlock. I mean, it'll open when you're good and ready to open it, but it is now unlocked. And you both feel pretty pleased with yourselves for having pulled that off. So next time you have to roll, you can have a boost die.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so Vek will look approvingly at Jacen and say, "That was more than adequate, Jacen."
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, really, we got to thank Watcher for leaving his gear where we could get to it in these troubling times.
That we
Great
were
job to
unable
both of
to
you.
rouse him.
Get out your guns.
Oh, boss doesn't like your self-congratulation.
No, you both did a great job, but okay, guns now.
Okay.
All right.
And Tem is like, "Jacen, cover me," and he opens the door.
All right. So you're opening it up, and the interior, the carpet changes. It doesn't on the little map that I've made, but whatever. It goes from being like a harsh gray to a softer gray, so it's immediately noticeable and soft underfoot. Overall, the place is very lavish. He clearly enjoyed this place. And there's kind of like a table over to the side there with, it looks like there's like a half-finished poker game going on there. Or sabacc, I should say. A half-finished sabacc game. And from what you can see in this initial area, it's really the living room. There's kind of like a big TV on the wall. For watching all them holo vids, there's a plant in the corner. And there's a couple of little rooms at the back there, which who knows what's inside of those.
Okay.
I have a through a mod I have like installed on my armor. I have a general purpose scanner built into my armor. Does that allow me to like go through walls? Can I like use a perception check to like try and use the scanner to see whether there's like any movement or heat signatures in here besides like us?
That is a very good question.
General purpose scanners on page 191 of the core rulebook.
It adds a boost die to perception checks to detect movement or hidden enemies. I've got the same thing.
Okay.
I mean,
but it by default is like a general purpose scanner as well. But if there's any movement or hidden enemies, I get the boost die.
So,
let's see.
as soon as the door does open, though, Tem is already moving.
Right. So it would just be like me, who was like, I thought of that because it's something that I had, and I wanted to know whether I can actually go through.
Yeah, no, you can definitely make use of it to have a look around and see what you would otherwise like. What isn't just.
Okay. In that case, well, like Tim's like obviously like in like breaching, and like Jacen's covering him. That's what I'll do. I'll devote a perception check to that.
Yeah. Tim rushes across and ducks behind this corner up here, and levels his gun towards this general area so that he's covering the other 3 doors that he can see.
And is there like a cool little combat roll for that?
Tem is too old to do combat rolls.
All right, so as for your perception check, go ahead and assemble your dice pool, and we'll make it. So what you're looking for in particular, if anyone is in here?
I guess that would be the primary focus. Like, Tim obviously has a concern about like us getting into a hostile situation, and so like Dr. Vek, like, oh, that's because Grimmeth just thought of that, like, oh, that might be a good idea. Dr. Vek finally fucking remembers her fucking like built-in scanner and directs that towards seeing whether there actually is anyone in here other than us on this floor.
All right, so go ahead and we'll make it a hard check. 3 purple dice.
Okay. Stupid piece of trash equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I should have added another boost die to that because of that fucking.
Well, well, I think it hasn't rolled your off of your stat, or has it? Wow.
Yeah, it has. Like my perception, I have 2 ranks in it, and like my attribute is 2. So yeah, I'll just add another boost die to that. Just roll 1 flat boost die. I said 1. Okay, so that gave me an advantage and a success on top of that. So that canceled out the failure, and I have 3 advantages.
Yeah, which as far as this system is concerned, is still a failure with 3 advantages. Okay.
This system.
It definitely results in some interesting outcomes. So you kind of flip it on, and for all it's probably like a Vegeta scouter.
I guess so. I mean, like, considering like how crazy she is with like her fucking like management, and like her like the fact that she doesn't want to wear a helmet, it's just like armored clothing, so it's inconspicuous. It probably is a fucking Vegeta scouter. I like that. I didn't actually think of that. I like that. It's great.
I'm trying. Yeah, I was trying to think of, well, how would it work with her head shape too?
I mean, I thought it might just be like built in like the sleeve of like her clothing, but I like the fucking like scouter approach to that. I think it sounds cooler and more like her.
Yeah, it certainly does create a interesting image. So she kind of flips it on and starts scanning the immediate area, and there's no signs of anyone being hidden. Like there's definitely nobody hidden that you're able to see, but you see a lot of signs of life behind those 2 doors near Tim.
Oh, okay. Like, are there any like distinguishable like numbers at all? Like, can I like even like isolate like how many signs of life there are?
There's probably about two dozen back there, and they all appear to be about as big as a fern.
All right. Well, Vek, Grimmeth might know for sure looking at the map, but Vek doesn't know. So like she like fucking like peeks her head in and like sort of like waves to try and catch Tim's attention.
And Tim's looks over,
points at like those like 2 doors, and then starts flashing like a bunch of like digits or whatever sort of like fucking like sign language might be to indicate lots of shit behind those doors.
Well, one of the exercises that Tem forces everyone to do is, weekly sign weekly military sign practice. So
Okay.
yeah, Vek, I'm sure, would know the signs from the Imperial military.
Yes, enough to indicate, like, not the specifics, because maybe she doesn't deign to, like, fully pay attention, but, like, lots of signs of life behind those doors.
All right. Tem crouches down lower. Now, is this a window?
Yes, but it is one of those like cloudy ones.
Okay. So Tem makes the hand signals to Jacen to come in here, and he points at this area behind that table where he should take cover.
Whoa. Jacen does a combat roll. It's totally cool.
Yeah, Jason's
Now,
much cooler than Tem.
can you roll agility for me? Let's see.
Would that be coordination or athletics?
That's not a stat, Smug. I can't roll agility.
Look, I'm just being a smartass. You can be as cool as you want.
All right. Tem comes around over here and opens that door if it's unlocked.
All right, it is definitely unlocked.
Okay.
And inside of it is another door.
Tem sort of mutters angrily to himself that there's another door here, but he opens that one too. Like pushes it open from the side.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's actually a sliding door, and it goes the other way.
Of course, that's fine. Tim opens it and peeks around, gun first, to see what's in here.
Yeah, so the first thing, all right, okay, go ahead and roll perception for me.
Difficulty on that?
Yeah, it's going to be for you. It's going to be easy.
Okay. Yep, that's
wow,
a failure.
Yeah. So a lot of blank faces there on those guys.
Yep. Welcome to gaming with Matt.
Yeah.
With Matt.
Tem's trying to look in there, but is this room foggy?
Yeah, it is quite humid in there and very warm.
Yeah,
no doubt due to the number of grow lights that are hanging from the ceiling.
And so Tem's trying to get a fix on the life forms in here, but the glow lights refracting through the fog just make it impossible for him to see anything.
Yes, and that's pretty much
Oh,
it. But,
wait a minute. I'm looking for signs of life or hidden enemies, so I should add a boost die to that. Which won't accomplish anything, but I'm going to do it anyway.
All right, do it. Although, didn't your helmet break?
Yeah, my helmet broke, but the scanner is in the armor.
Oh, okay.
Yep, another blank face on that die.
All right, excellent. Okay, yeah. So you don't see anybody in there, which is probably going to be the case.
So Tem, assuming it's safe, walks in.
All right, so what you do find are this is a grow room. He is clearly growing quite a few plants of his own in here. And for all my Googling, is this still just considered spice in Star Wars?
It could be Bota. That's a plant that the Black Sun deals in.
It could also be possible that we may not know what designation the plants are, barring like some sort of fucking botany thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's some kind of plant, but the Black Sun was big into Bota. The trouble with that is that it died
certainly
when it
were.
off its planet.
All right, well, we'll go with that. They are Bodo, whether you realize what they are or not. I guess it's going to be up to you guys whether you want to roll for it or not.
Well, I mean, if we know what it is, then there's no need for us. It doesn't make it any interesting for us to roll.
No, not really. It's just fun for me when people fail their rolls. That's really.
Tem holds up his comlink and just comms back to theirs. It's just Karkin plants.
There's like a pain sigh from like, and she communicates over the comlink. I don't see anything else alive. Then it's probably just more plants in the other room.
Tem goes to check anyway, but he's less cautious this time.
All right, so if the doors open the reverse way on this set.
This criffing building. All right, he goes in with his gun ready, just in case.
And it's exactly the same thing in this room. So you've found a whole lot of plants.
Okay, well, Tem is going to try and use his life form scanner from this point here to see if he can detect any life forms in the next room. Would that be a hard one again?
Yes, it would.
All right, let's see me fail again.
These shitty walls full of lead asbestos or whatever.
Yeah, ever since those Supermen showed up on Nar Shaddaa.
Yep, there's another failure with 2 threats.
Ugh. Yuck.
Right. So you're specifically looking for signs of life, though, right?
Yeah. Like hidden enemies or movement. That's what the scanner can pick up.
All right, so you don't sense anything, and your scanner is now showing signs of a low battery.
I thought I'd just charge this thing. Maybe the battery was in the helmet, I don't know. Oh, whatever, he opens that door and looks inside anyway.
And so the next room is pretty much the kitchen area. There's a lot of chairs left over from when this was probably some kind of science experimental room. And some of the equipment in there doesn't make a lot of sense, but there's a couple of long counters. One's being kind of reconditioned into a cooking top. There's a kettle there. But definitely no signs of life in here. So I guess really your scanner was correct, but not for the right reason.
Is there
must be working fine.
Any like food lying out that's been going bad or anything like that?
There's no food left out, but anyone in the room, go ahead and roll a perception check for me. It's going to be easy. Just one purple.
Set sail for 1p.
Oh yeah, sure. Now I succeed a roll.
Yeah, I'd like to try to get these, have you get your successes early.
It's 1 success with 2 advantages for Tem. Vek's not in the room. She's not looking.
Yeah, and 2 successes for Jacen.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what you guys notice, Jacen in particular, since he's a little further back there and no doubt looking this way and that, there is a definitely steaming cup of tea across on the other table.
Oh, I mean, someone's in here.
Tem,
Someone's in this apartment.
I think you're right. Tem comms Vek. Vek, can you use your scanner? Check the next room over there. Mine's dead.
Tem, you do see the same thing.
Yeah?
Trying to think of your advantages.
It's my favorite
He knows
tea.
what kind of tea it is.
He sees a battery that he can immediately plug into his scanner.
Yeah, both of those things can happen. What kind of tea is it?
Oh, well, obviously it's moth gray.
Mm.
Oh, made
Did you
out
say
of
moth or moth?
Yeah,
Moth
which
gray.
Delicious.
Yeah.
It's
You gotta be careful though. If
the
you
blandest-
rub the leaf too hard.
It's the blandest, most generic tea that boring people drink. That's Tem's favorite. I love some moth gray in the morning. Read my newspaper. Maybe have a scone if I'm celebrating.
And so you also see that there is a scone over there on that table.
Tim licks his lips, but he forbears for now because there might be some danger coming up, and he knows that if he does get in a fight, he's going to be real peckish after. So he files away the location of that scone for later.
All right. So you were also telling Vek to go ahead and scan ahead, or?
Yeah, there's another room through there. We can see there's a door here, so he's asking Vek to use her scanner on that one. See if there's any life forms over there.
I can do that if God will so deign to permit it.
Yeah, go ahead. Same role as before, because obviously there's a lot of lead in these. And how does Vek get across the room? Does she have a combat role?
No, she is very uncoordinated, sort of gamely. So mainly in this particular case, her walk is sort of elegant and just a little bit stilted. She's remembering back to the words that Tim said, and so her form is hunched. So instead of being 2 meters tall, she's 1.7. But by and large,
so the hunch gets her down to normal height. Yeah.
Yeah, that's as much commitment as she ends up paying to it. But she, honestly, if she knew more about combat and positioning and shit, she'd be appalled because she's intelligent. But she thinks she's doing good. She's ignorant on this.
Yes, all that information she's stored on how to sneak is probably giving her a big thumbs up.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, obviously not the obviously not the sneakiest to just go straight, but it's the most efficient.
Yeah, it's a huge kitchen.
He thinks back to stealth training sessions with Tim, and he's like, serpentine. Dr. X like, yes, well, serpents go straight.
Good news is that I failed, but I have a triumph
on your perception roll.
This system is so stupid.
I can spend this triumph to notice details that could be useful later, allowing characters to gain a boost die on future interactions with the noticed element.
Let's see. So you're scanning into the other room, and you're gonna notice something
that could be useful later, giving us a boost die future interactions with that thing that I've noticed. Whether it's a lovely chandelier in the room or a fucking
I mean, really, you could just notice it in this room. Those are gas burners.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can notice that anyway. But if you want, I can tell you something else about the room you're about to enter.
Sure, I'd love that.
There is definitely more than one room left in this place.
Okay. Do I have all right, is there any clear sign of where the other room is? Can I see the walls with the scanner? Okay.
Yeah, right. So you've got the scanner up. You're kind of I mean you're scanning for life, and nothing's coming up apart from what is clearly a plant in the other room. That's the only thing you're picking up. But what you notice is that there is this one section of wall ahead that is completely dark, it is being purposefully blocked. There's some kind of shielding there.
Okay.
So it's indicative of a hidden room.
All right. Vek will communicate that in a whisper. No life other than plant, but false wall.
False wall. We better check that out.
She'll pull back to the fucking in this area because she doesn't want to be that close.
All right, Tim will open the door.
All right, and the explosives go off.
Oh no!
Well, it was a fun game, everybody.
Thanks
With
for
your
joining
triumphant
us.
advantage, you did not spawn the explosives, fool.
Yeah, it was a fun game. I mean, we spent like an hour in an elevator, 30 minutes going through an apartment.
I spewed through auspicious numbers of Twilix.
All right, so
All right, so you're going to go into the other room. Obviously, no explosives go off. This is the man's pleasure palace, for lack of a better term. So there is a bed just kind of positioned in there because, again, there are chairs and like defunct terminals all over the room. But he has set up a bed there. The sheets are not made. There is a disco ball hanging from the ceiling. There's a plant. There are mirrors. And there's a computer off in the corner.
okay. I'll point at the computer and gesture to the two brainy ones.
Now that blank wall was behind the bed.
Okay.
Or blocked. Shielded wall. Shielded.
Yeah. Vek whispers, maybe not the computer right now. Like, considering that steaming cup and scone over there, there might still be someone on this floor.
Have you considered that the computer may be how to open the hidden door?
I'm gonna do whatever.
I'm trying to think of how Vek would respond to that.